This is why it was so hard for the people of the world to accept his teachings, because he was teaching that there was a power greater than they were. And he was teaching that everyone was equal as a child of God. Think of the two principles. There really is a power greater than you. There really is a power greater than your government. There really is a power greater than your society structure. Whatever you live underneath, whatever you honor, there really is a greater power. And everyone is equal. Everyone is child of God. Those two beliefs totally disintegrated the world order of his day. Would they disintegrate the world order of our day? Yeah, pretty much. But it's really what we're striving to accomplish. It's what we're striving as Christians, as metaphysical Christians, to embody. And because they destroyed the world order, they wanted to stop the message. The people in power wanted to stop the message. But because the message was spirit and not matter, it couldn't be stopped, could it? But I wanted to read to you some of my favorite little passages of Jesus' experience that last day. So I'm starting in the Aquarian 165, and this is when he was brought before the Sanhedrin. This is his first trial. And this is what they said. A man named Jesus has come forth and claims to be heir to David's throne. At first, he blasphemes God. He says he is Son of God and that he and God are one. And he profanes our holy days by healing and by doing other work upon the Sabbath. And Caiaphas said to Jesus, "Man, have you a word to say? Are you the Son of God?" And Jesus said, "So you have said," and he said no more. Those were the accusations that he was tried for, and those were the accusations that he was found guilty of. In the journey to the cross, I just want to read this one little piece. The Jewish mob pushed on toward Calvary. As they went, the Marys, Miriam, and other women, not a few, were close beside the Lord. They wept aloud. When Jesus saw them crying, he said, "Weep not for me, for though I go through the gateway of the cross, yet the next day of the sun, lift up your hearts, and I will meet you at the sepulchre." Then he was crucified, and we know the story very well. All the events, the lifting of his body to God, the earthquake, the darkening of the skies. And he was put into the tomb. And I just wanted to read you, this is chapter 172. Now Jesus did not sleep within the tomb. The body is manifest of soul, but soul is soul without manifest. That means the soul is still soul. And in the realm of souls, Jesus went forth and taught. He opened up the prison doors and set the prisoners free. He broke the chains of captive souls and led the captives to the light. That means that he worked with disembodied spirits, people that were on the other side and didn't know how to go to God. They may have died with the belief that there was no heaven or was no God, and they go into an in-between place because their beliefs take them there. So he worked with them and showed them the light. He sat in council with the prophets of old, and he told them of his promise to clothe himself again in the garb of flesh, to walk with his disciples just to prove the possibilities of man, to give them the key of life, of death, and of resurrection of the dead. He talked about when the holy breath would fill the earth one day and open up the path of man to perfect, endless life. And then in the garden, the Jewish soldiers watched. And at midnight, every Jewish soldier who was guarding the tomb heard a voice which said, "Adon Mashiach Kumi," Lord Christ, arise. And they supposed that the friends of Jesus were there, and they got alert. And the soldiers, with swords unsheathed and drawn, thought they heard the words again. It seemed as though the voice was everywhere, yet they saw no man. They blanched with fear and meant to flee. And again, just before the sun rose, the heavens blazed with light, and a distant thunder seemed to herald forth a coming storm. The earth began to quake, and in the rays of light they saw a form descend from heaven. And they said, "Behold, an angel comes." And they heard again, Adon Mashis Kumi, and the white-robed form tramped on the Roman seal and tore it into shreds. He took the mighty stone in hand and threw it as though it were a pebble, and cast it to the side. And Jesus opened his eyes and said, All hail the rising sun, the coming day of righteousness. He folded his burial garment, laid them aside. He arose, stood beside the white-robed form. The weaker soldiers fell on the ground and hid their faces. The stronger stood and watched. They saw the body of the Nazarene transmute. They saw it change from mortal to immortal form, and then it disappeared. And they heard a voice from somewhere, yea, from everywhere, saying, Peace, peace on earth, goodwill to men. The physical. Matter actually moving when spirit is in charge. People actually witnessing matter transform when spirit is in charge. When spirit moves through matter, it is so hard for our mortal minds to comprehend. You know this. When spirit moves through matter, it's hard for our mortal minds to comprehend. I know some of the soldiers that left that site probably could not understand what they had seen. As I read those scriptures, you feel movement, don't you? But you may not understand what movement you feel. You feel that spirit has the capacity to do that, but yet you don't know how to make that real. You know what I'm saying? Our opportunity on the earth plane is to begin to acknowledge the physical manifest of spirit, the power of God to move through the matter of our lives. If Jesus Christ can resurrect a body, cannot God move through the mountains in our worlds to resurrect our lives into something greater and better? Spirit creates matter. Physical. Take a breath. How did your minds feel a moment ago? How does your body feel now? Did your mind feel a little overwhelmed? How does your body feel? A little overwhelmed. We need to breathe it in deeper. All right. Spirit. So, I have a story for you. Last Saturday, I got an opportunity to go to one of our members' homes. They were having some disturbances in their home and wanted some guidance. And so we went to a little graveyard that was behind the house. And some of the girls from class and I went up there. And it was very apparent that the people who had been buried there were still there. We could feel definitely 4 graves were marked, but there was a few people still there, and they didn't particularly like us being there. But what caught my attention was the fact that there was a couple, both of them had died in 1857 of the measles, and they were buried together. And on their marker it said, "They now lie in one grave, and here they will remain until the resurrection day of the Lord." And I went, oh no. No wonder they're still here. No wonder they're still here. Their belief was that they would stay in the ground until the resurrection day of the Lord, 1857. And we felt them all around us, and you could feel their dissatisfaction about our presence. And they were not our assignment that day. Our assignment was elsewhere. So I put my hands on the marker, and we just talked to them for a moment. And so I told them, called in the angels. I said, guys, guess what? Next Sunday is Resurrection Day. Next Sunday is Easter. It's Resurrection Day. You guys can go home. And I bet next Sunday, if you open your eyes and look at the hill and see the sun rise, I bet you'll see Jesus Christ waiting for you to take you home. Well, they were taken aback. And they didn't receive the message extremely welcoming.